Welcome to an edition of GW Unspoken, where we discuss stuff we don't typically talk about, but probably should. Now, how many times have you actually felt anxious or nervous, disconnected? How does it work? How do we become happy? How do we become happy in our lives? How many people are actually happy out there listening to this right now? Whether you be on the way to work, or we've got a fair few teens now who are coming in and listening to the podcast, whether on the way to school or heard a couple at gym listening to the podcast. And welcome to you guys out there and girls. I want to know, there's a lot of people who struggle with their happiness, and there's a lot of people who go to work every single day and they're not happy. They say about 80% of our workforce are involved with people who don't actually like their jobs. What are some ways we can be happy and enjoy life? Because we know that when we wait for that moment to be happy, we're going to be waiting for ages. We're going to be waiting forever, because it doesn't just come. It just does not happen. We've got to make it happen. So how about being present? Here's an idea. Here's number one, be present. How do we be present? Let's try and listen in silence. Let's listen for 3 minutes with our ears and eyes in the environment. And you get a bit hippie on you here. Take your shoes off, sit on the grass, get around water if you can. Just be. Slow down. Be mindful. And while you're doing that, focus on your breath. Deep, cleansing, slow, deep breaths. Really focus on it in through your nose and out through your mouth. And even talk about things like breathing in through your nose and really focusing on all the positive energy coming into your body, and breathing out all the negative energies or things that are stressing you out at that time. So that deep cleansing of breath while you're listening in silence. Here's another idea. Did you know that having connectedness and servicing others, or being of service to others, can make you feel good? The worst thing is that when you're feeling depressed or anxious, especially in depression, you see it all the time where people don't feel like doing anything. So they sit there and they wallow in their upsetness, and they really get upset. And you think, I get it. I understand you can't get out of it because of your mental health. What can we do to actually get you up and moving? Yes, having good food. Yes, being mindful, but servicing others, maybe getting out of the way of your own success, or I guess not even success in this way, but even being upset with the predicament you're in. What can force you to actually move and get to someone and help them out? It's nearly impossible, right? I'm not saying it's easy, but sometimes if we can actually service others, we in turn can feel great. I love an analogy for gratefulness. Gratefulness is where you can actually send out 2 or 3 messages to people by text or by letter, even if you're brave enough to do it face to face. Imagine if you could do that once or twice in a day, send it out to people, and the results you get when they come back, you just feel amazing, because you know you've made them feel good, and they in turn say something nice back to you. That is huge. Being grateful and sending that message to other people can have service to others and make you feel connected as well. The one I think I don't like very much is the making fun of people. There's a massive group mentality out there, which I know workers can actually buy into this really easy. If someone's complaining, they can jump on the bandwagon and whinge and complain as well. Get out of it. Stop doing that. All right? If you're making fun and joking at people all the time, eventually it's going to have a scar. It's going to hurt somebody. So I don't mind banter and a bit of joking every now, but if you keep on the same, page, or the same predicament of putting someone down or teasing them, it's really easy to do that in a group, but it only punishes the other person. And making fun of them is not good. We were on the beach on the Sunshine Coast on the weekend, just this little story, and we saw kids jumping off it was a bit of a high rise there at Karamarundi. They're jumping into the water, and they're all laughing and joking. And suddenly one person decided to pick up some mud and throw it at people. And it hit this one little boy. He must have been about 8 years old in the eyes. And he just blew up deluxe, fully escalated, massive trigger. He had his shoulders up high, fingers down by his side, actually behind his back. So it was like he was doing this massive shrug and not moving his arms, but chasing after the other kids. These other kids are probably between 15 and maybe same age, 7 or 8. And they're just pack mentality, teasing him and laughing at it and mocking his body structure as he was walking towards these guys and girls. And it was just so sad. And I walked up to them, this poor little fella, and didn't know him, but everyone else dissipated. And I said, mate, are you okay? I think you need to go and see your mum or dad. And of course he didn't know me, so he fobbed me off as well. But he went up the top of the beach still looking for these kids. He was so rolled up, it's like he was going to fight them. And actually you'd hear him say, I'm not afraid to fight. I'm not afraid to fight. But that pack mentality of laughing at this poor little fella, I just thought, I wonder how much that's actually going to affect his little brain now when he goes to school the next day, or when he's around a crowd again, or whether he goes back to that place again. There's going to be those triggers. So the pack mentality can be absolutely dangerous. Be an individual, be different, be your own self. be happy in yourself. And if you can't be happy in yourself, find like-minded community who stand for some real positive values. The last thing I really want to talk about is the book from Tim Bono. Tim Bono had a book called When Likes Aren't Enough. And we know the social, emotional well-being has gone through the roof in a negative way because a lot of our people these days, even adults alike, are looking for social media likes to get that dopamine hit. Oh, another hit. I feel, oh, look at all the likes I'm getting. I'm popular suddenly. Well, he talked about how overall that doesn't happen. Now, he was a university lecturer in America, and he decided to put up this course, and the course was about mindfulness. So he called it mindfulness or meditation, something like that. And then he had like 7 or 8 people turn up. And he's like, well, what's going on? I know how important this is. I know how important it is to be mindful. No one showed. 7 or 8 people, that was it. So he changed his tune, and he said, the actual unit now is going to be called, the course is going to be called How to Be Happy. He reckons he had a lineup of people, teenagers and early 20s, joining that course. And he's had numbers at the door. Like now he's still got to this day, I believe, like months and months and months, or even terms of people lining up to join that course. And he talked about all the benefits like of mindfulness and gratefulness and things we talk about in the podcast. But the most important analogy, he said, is there's a formula to happiness. And the formula of happiness is this. You look at what you have and you divide it by what you want. So wherever you go next and you get a chance with a pen and paper, or write down the words want, put a line underneath it, and then underneath that line write want. So sorry, have on top, want on the bottom, and do an analogy. Let's say there's 10 things I have I really love. Geez, there's 100 things I want. You're only 10% happy. It's crazy, but we do it all the time. We compare. We contrast what our neighbours have, our friends have, our social groups have, our aesthetic appearance. We talk about these things all the time, and we often compare. But if you become more happy with what you actually have and don't seek things that you think you want, you can be a lot more happier. Third world countries are doing this. There's third world countries out there who have hardly any mental health issues compared to what we have here in Australia. And the reason is because they're so grateful to have the things they have in their life. Food might be a cup of rice a day, shelter, they might have, their family members survive another day, all the basics in life, and they don't have anywhere near the mental health issues we do have here. I want you to think about these things on the way to work, or think about these things when you're in the gym or listening to this podcast, wherever you may be. What are the things you actually have? Do you actually need the things that you want? Can you just be happy with the things that you actually have? Can you actually get yourself and be present? Can you listen in silence for 3 minutes, away from everything, and just focus on your breath? Can you go and serve others and connect with others who are like-minded and stand for great values? Challenge yourself this week, and thanks for joining us.